Hi, Linda Bowen here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. It's Tuesday, so Fancy Fold, and today's Fancy Fold was inspired by a card I received in the mail from a downline member, Leanne Bergeri from Mentor, Ohio, and it's just so simple. It's more of a cutting, but there is, a different size to it. So I am calling it a fancy fold. So let's go ahead and get started. I am using the butter paper butterfly accents, and I also have the Pretty in Pink and Pretty Peacock foil gems. I have 2 pieces of basic white. These measure 2 3/8 by 4 1/8. Now all the measurements will be over on my blog, StampingWithLinda.com. I will have the link in the video description to head you over to that. I have 2 pieces of Pretty Peacock. These measure 1 3/8 by 4 1/8. I have a piece of the Pretty Peacock 2 5/8 by 4 3/8. Then I have this Specialty Designer Series paper. Now I'm going to be featuring several cards with this fancy fold using this specialty paper. It's called Frames and Flowers DSP, and the cool thing about this, it has like die cuts within the specialty paper. Now this piece of Designer Series paper is 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have 2 smaller pieces, 1 1/4 by 4, Peacock 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I have a piece of the soft sea foam. I do not use this color enough. I love the softness of the green. It's measuring 4 1/4 by 12, and we're going to cut it. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and we are going to cut along that 12-inch side at the 7-inch. And then we are going to move it in and cut a 2 1/2-inch piece. So we have a 4 1/4 by 2 1/2 and one that is 1 1/2 inches. We're going to bring this paper back in, and we are going to score it at the 5 1/2. So that is our main card base. Now let's go ahead and put this together. We are going to bring in our bone folder, get a nice crisp fold. We're going to add the 4 by 5 1/4 Pretty Peacock. You know what? That is wrong. This is to go in here. It is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I am just going to bring in, if I could find it, there it is, my embossing buddy. I will remove that adhesive later. Your embossing buddy will take the sticky off your adhesive because I put that on the wrong side. Then you can go in with an eraser. We do not carry the erasers anymore. You can get them online, but I will remove that adhesive later. But those 2 tools are great tools to have when you go do an oops like I just did. So again, this piece of Peacock measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. We're going to take our Designer Series paper, and we're going to put that in the inside like so. We are going to grab our 2 pieces of Pretty Peacock. I'm going to use my glue. We're going to use the opposite side of our paper. Again, this is just a great little fold too, to once again show both sides of your Designer Series paper. Got a nice 1/8 inch border. And we're going to add that here. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to add them to the front of the card. I just love the way that it really pulls out the color in our card. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to grab that, first we need to grab the piece of soft sea foam that we cut off, the 1.5 inch piece, and we're going to add It always amazes me, just a nice 1/8 inch border, how much it highlights the color of your paper. So we've got this. What we're going to do next is we are going to, let me double check myself. This is going to go like this. Yes. So we want this piece across, this pretty peacock across, to make kind of like a bridge card. So we're going to add adhesive on both sides like so. We are going to line up the edges together so we make sure it's nice and straight, or as straight as can be. Remember, it is a handmade card, so there's always room for a little error. Pretty close. We're going to set that down. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in that soft sea foam. We're going to bring my pretty peacock in. Take my multi-purpose glue and put my cap on it so it doesn't dry out. This stamp is Words Fail to Express My Gratitude. It is from the Simply Xenia stamp set, which is an online exclusive. See, I've got a little edge around there, so I'm going to just wipe that off. We're going to stamp that down here. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in an embossing folder. This is the metal plate embossing folder, and I am going to emboss that greeting. Well, I am really loving using my embossing folders over a designer series paper or over a greeting like this. I'm running it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And it just adds some depth to your project. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the front of my card, like so. I'm going to bring in that butterfly, scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to be using my Stampin' Blends. I have got the dark peach pie, and we are going to color that butterfly. Now I could watercolor it and add different shades, but I'm just adding one. I've also showed you how you can take these butterflies and add Versamark and clear embossing embossing powder to make them have like a glossy look to them. Going to add my Bellac blend. You see my tip on that, I have some issues going on there. But there we've got our body. I'm going to grab that multi-purpose glue again and add my butterfly. I'm seeing this is not sticking well, so we're going to add some more adhesive. Now we're going to add some adhesive to that butterfly. And then we're going to bring in those gems and just add them for some accent. Love the foil little dots on these gems. Let's go ahead and add another one of those bigger ones down here. Can never have enough bling, right? Now for the inside to right, we're going to have the white. Now I did cut 2 of these whites because we could put the white on the front too, but I elected not to. So what I'm going to do is I want this to be somewhat in the middle of the inside of my card. So I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to put my adhesive on. I'm going to lay it down so it's somewhat even. Just close my card. Remember, I'm going to get rid of that adhesive on the back. And there you have a fun fancy fold that shows off our Designer Series paper. Again, a shout out to Lee for sharing this with me. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.